The coalition generals had gathered once again, their atmosphere tense and filled with frustration. General Rick's mind raced as the holographic display replayed the battle yet again, every chaotic human maneuver, every unpredictable strike. The coalition had superior firepower, better coordination, and more ships, yet they had been outwitted, tricked into overconfidence. You mean they wasted all those resources, on purpose? The disbelief echoed across the briefing room. General Rick's eyes flickered over the tactical data feed, still struggling to make sense of what had happened. The humans had sent ships on wild, seemingly pointless flanking routes, spreading their forces dangerously thin. It should have been their downfall. Yet they won. "Show me the replay," Brolic demanded, his irritation barely concealed. As the battlefield hologram flickered to life, the absurdity of the human maneuvers was clear. Their ships started in erratic formations, seemingly random, chaotic. It made no sense. The coalition's forces, focused on what appeared to be the main human fleet, had engaged them, believing victory was within reach. But as the coalition ships committed fully, those scattered, seemingly inconsequential ships reappeared, silent, cloaked, and lethal. They sent decoys, one general muttered, realization dawning. But why spread them so thin? It was bait, another added, shaking his head. Bait? Brolic's temper flared. They weakened their position intentionally. We could have crushed them at any moment. That's the thing with Death Worlders, Colonel Isaac said from the back of the room, stepping forward. They thrive on unpredictability. They knew we'd act on our assumptions. Silence fell as the truth sank in. The humans had used the coalition's rigid, logical tactics against them. They had baited the coalition into overcommitting to a fight they could not win. That can't be it, Brolic scoffed. No species fights like that and wins. The final phase of the battle replayed, showing how the humans exploited the coalition's assumptions. The humans hadn't engaged directly, they harassed, confused, dismantled piece by piece, bit by bit. Precision chaos, Verl's claws clicked against the table. They made us think we had the upper hand. It's more than that, Colonel Isaac continued. They don't follow rules. They fight like they're gambling with lives, but not recklessly. They calculate every risk, every sacrifice, knowing we would never expect it. The coalition had been outwitted, not by luck, but by a species that saw war differently. Humans fought for survival. Every action, no matter how reckless, had purpose. We need to rethink our approach, Admiral Ver said, grimly. Their unpredictability means we can't fight them like we do others. We can't assume they'll follow the same logic we do. The next day, the generals reconvened, even more uneasy. The replay had run all night, and no one had found a solution. Ver paced, his frustration growing. Every time we engage, they adapt faster than we can. Enough! Brolic snapped. We'll outlast them. They still have physical limits, same as us. We just need to push harder. Will we? General Lower's voice cut through the room. Scarred and hardened from wars fought long ago, Lower had been silent through most of the meeting. When he spoke, people listened. They fight for survival, not conquest. That's why they're willing to do things we wouldn't even consider. Lower's words hung heavy in the air. The humans weren't reckless, they saw opportunities in what the coalition dismissed as chaos. We can't be predictable anymore, Rick said, his voice low. We need to give them a taste of their own chaos. Fake chaos? Isaac raised an eyebrow. That's a risky gamble, General. Everything about this war is a gamble, Rick replied, resolve hardening. The humans had won by convincing the coalition they were weak and disorganized. The coalition would now do the same, luring them in and showing them chaos that would lead to their defeat. When the battle finally came, the humans fell into the trap. They were confident, sure of another victory against the predictable coalition. But just as they moved in for the kill, the coalition fleet snapped into coordinated action. The tables had turned. The humans, overextended and surrounded, found themselves at the mercy of the coalition's precision. But as victory seemed assured, a small contingent of human ships broke away, targeting the coalition's command ships. It was a desperate gambit, a final, defiant strike. As the human ships launched a barrage of missiles, the coalition command ship shuddered under the onslaught. But the humans had spent everything. Their final gamble failed. The command ship, though heavily damaged, still stood. The humans had lost the battle, but as General Rick watched the final moments, he couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't over. The humans had an indomitable will to survive, and Rick knew they weren't finished yet.